welcome to What You Need to Know on this Baby Friday. It actually feels like Friday.
Yes, it really does, right? That's because we're headed to LA, which is going to be a lot of fun. But first, congratulations are in order for America's favorite doctor. Yes, Dr. Jen right here, honored by our alma mater. Congratulations on your distinguished professional achievement honor at the Columbia College 44th Annual John Jay Awards in New York. One more time, Dr. Jen.
Thank you. So this was really, really moving for me. $1.6 million was raised last night, which goes to fund first-year students, financial aid at Columbia. Past honorees, George Stephanopoulos. I'm in good company. I've imposter syndrome big time. I did not feel like I deserved to be there, but thank you to everyone who came out, my ABC family, and it was a special night.
You most certainly deserve it.
Thank you, my friend.
And to prove just how much you deserve, we're going to put you to work.
Okay.
Dr. Jen, talking medical headlines, women's health care is a driving issue this election cycle, and the abortion rights issue front and center on the ballot. A new poll is looking at what voters are feeling ahead of the November election. Break this down for us.
Yeah, and before we get to that, you've heard me talk a lot about how I think doctors need to stay in their lanes, politicians need to stay in their lanes, but women's reproductive health rights, a major, major issue in this presidential election. So is going to look like it's going to translate at this year's presidential election.
And we'll have more on this topic throughout the show.
Yep.
Thank you, Dr. Jen. We appreciate it. Rita Roy is in the house, and it's always good to see you with our headlines.
It is so good to see you guys. Happy Baby Friday to all of you and all of you at home. We begin with the...
Nice, and you know we love to hear that.
We love to hear it. We love to see it.
Yes, we do. All right, Rita, thank you.
And much more ahead on GMA3 on this Thursday. The Texas mom who fought. Dr. Jen is back, and we're looking at a new study that's finding obesity was linked to poor mental health. Break this down.
Independently linked, and that's two important qualifiers here, associated or observed, so haven't yet shown cause and effect, but independently linked with it, meaning it's not just based on other variables, other confounding factors, something that we see. It suggests that there may be a causative connection between the condition of obesity and mental health issues, i.e. depression. In this study, the research was done in Ireland, and they found that a higher body mass index, which again is not the best measure of someone's overweight or obesity, but it is the standard that we use around the world in health, linked with depression and poor quality of life on subjective surveys or questionnaires. So I think it's important, mind-body connection. That's not just a catchy phrase. You know, there are connections in both directions, and I think it reminds us holistically that when we're talking about a person who's overweight or obese, we truly have to address their issues head to toe.
And I was about to ask about, you know, making that connection to depression and eating disorders, you name it.
Yeah, I think it's not clear whether the depression is a major contributor to obesity or whether obesity causes depression because of inflammation or cellular or metabolic or hormonal issues. But once you find an observation of something, it's really incumbent on us to do more research and to address it.
And also to keep that in mind.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Doc, thank you very much.
You bet.
Appreciate it. Back in a moment. All right, we're back now with Dr. Jen with a nutritional update sparked by this viewer question right here. I want to avoid putting creamer and sugar into my morning coffee. Any suggestions for a sweetener alternative?
Smart question by Allison, because when you think about it, an average cup of coffee could have just like 60 or 80 calories in it. When you start adding creamers, even flavored creamers, and then sweeteners, you could literally be drinking a cup of coffee that is like a dessert.
It tastes like Kool-Aid or something.
That is right. It could be 200 calories or even more, and that obviously can add up over a course of a day, over a week, and so on and so forth. My first suggestion is try to wean yourself off that sweetness gradually. It does take time to retrain your taste buds. It's very difficult to do it overnight. How do I mean? You know, if you're putting 2 teaspoons of sugar, which by the way is a lot, start making it 1, then start making it half a 1. go down gradually. There are people who, believe it or not, add maple syrup to their coffee so that a little bit. I've never tried it. I'm a big coffee lover. So that they cannot do so much creamer and sweetener, you know, and they switch it. But I want to be clear, in the brain, anything sweet activates the same reward center. So I would just say taper off, give yourself time.
So is the safest way to just drink what? Coffee straight, black? That's just boring.
I mean, it does seem a little boring, and some people like that, and I guess, you know, in desperate times, I have been known to not put anything in it, but it's all about retraining your taste buds, for sure.
All right. So no alternative, just start to taper down.
Just taper down. Okay. That's my advice. And be patient. It might take a while.
All right. Prescription for wellness.
All right. Inspired by a recent article that we saw in the New York Times about ways to talk to yourself to kind of promote emotional well-being. You know, again, as we would talk to a child, as we would talk to a friend, really helpful in keeping our emotional well-being.
I like that.
And little bits of joy, like your shoes.
Yeah!
Like my shoes, my Snuffleupagus shoes.
You said they're comfortable, too.
They are comfortable, and they just make me laugh and smile every time I look down on them.
We love joy right here. All right, Doc, thank you very much. And, folks, we would love to hear from you, so hit us up on Instagram with all of your medical questions at ABC GMA3. Coming up next, the new Hollywood study